anybody's wrists feeling achy? Give me a thumbs up. If you're feeling like you have a stone in your shoe, but in fact it's uncomfortable wrists and fingers. So just log how that feels. So let's get ready to grab our brick and grab a small set of balls, or a medium set, whichever set you've got. Okay. So let's do a little bit of wrist work. So again, the only place we're avoiding is one finger width here, carpal tunnel. Okay, so yeah, prop yourself up on your sofas. If you want to grab some water, and it's really humid tonight, folks. So we're just going to avoid the carpal tunnel. So I'm just doing this so you can sort of see where I am side on. So get yourself comfortable or sitting out in front of you. So start in that sort of karate chop movement, but really allow the balls to sort of track down from the edge of the wrist right up to the elbow, right way down the side, see. So let's do a little bit of skin rolling and some stripping. We're going in the direction of the muscles, stripping up. Let the hand be nice and floppy. So do the side seam to start off with. So it may be that you have to break it down into half the arm and then change position to come in from the elbow joint. Let these balls get nestled right into the attachments, right up in your elbow joint. Decompressing some of those nerves. And then slowly allow the arm to sort of drape open. So I'm going to sit facing forward. So we've done some side seam. And now you're going to get onto the back of the wrists. Have the balls fairly close to you is my suggestion, okay? Or if you're on your hands and knees, that's fine, but just give yourself a little bit of space. Anybody holding their breath? See if you can relaxedly breathe. Now, if you want to, you can apply a small amount of pressure. Just use the other hand just to give yourself a little bit of purchase. So we're still stripping at the moment. But then once you get into a few hot spots, let's see what it feels like to sort of almost come into a little bit of a sort of a wiggly, jiggly type movement. And then begin to sort of come palm up, palm down. So we're now beginning to pin. So we've got a few things going on. We've got stripping. We've then got a pin and stretch. We've got a little bit of cross fibering going on. And we're trying to get into some of that. Actually, I'm going to stop everybody for a second. Just humour me. Put your arms out again. Bring your arms out to shoulder height. And see what you like. Can you actually turn your palms up? And can you get your fingers down at all? See how that is. Have a little look. Notice how easy it is to go that way, to go that way. Just see how that feels. Look at what your hands are doing. Notice how that feels. And we'll continue. So again, up to you if you want to be on your knees, hands. Stripping, and then really try and pin and stretch to the back of the wrist joints. Getting into that cuff, that retinaculum. So then you're going to do a pin and stretch. So you're pinning, and then you're going to move your fist. So you're making a fist, curling your fist in. That may feel like grateful discomfort, or it might feel a bit pinchy, but quite nice. I know for a couple of people that's probably quite good. You shall remain nameless. And then see what it's like to turn your thumb out. Okay, so you're really, so in terms of that pronation, supination, see if you can get your finger to the floor, thumb to the floor. Then the opposite way. Then come off the edge of the block and drag your arms through at a bit of an angle. So you're then ploughing the tissue. So it's as if you're trying to capture the tissue and sort of shear it off your forearm. So plough that side seam, or plough down. Plough down. So you need to angle your arm at a slightly different position. This is great if you can do it on a kitchen countertop or a table. Plough down. Okay. Then come on to the underarm. You can cross the other arm on top, and again, make some fishtail movements with your hands. Think about the things that you dexterously using tools, instruments, pens. computing keyboards, instruments, implements. Okay, then move your position again a little bit. So keep altering to get yourself comfortable. So let's come into opening up the palm. So really try and get into the base of the thumb. So again, you might just want to encourage a little bit of movement. You want to interlace your fingers just to help you roll your palm across. Come into some finger extension. See if you can get the base of the fingers down. Finger extension. And then actually activate and sort of try and grab and squinch your fingers. Clench your fingers in. But can you get the base down? So you're like here. Get into that webbing. Lift the ball up, and then let's do a little bit of skin rolling right the way down into that nice meaty V-shaped muscle. And then you can feel the grip of the ball in the tote, and then just massage down each finger. So we're doing the back of the hand at the moment, down each finger. And then turn the palm over and slowly work your way down the thumb, the first finger, second, third, fourth, fifth. Notice what your energy is like this evening. Notice if you feel like you need to be more gentle or more vigorous. Take it nice and slow. If you're feeling really frazzled and a bit harried, stressed, slow it down. You're not trying to crucify yourself. What does it feel like to try and twist that tissue on the underlying layers? Notice the wrinkly bits where it picks up the skin and transitions it. Okay. And then just come off that second. So wiggle your fingers on that arm, that side. Just do a few movements, sort of see how that feels. Like pull, push, pull it in and out. Now do the other arm and see if that feels. You may feel that one hand feels a little bit more dexterous than the other. So let's get ready to do the other side. Please feel free to change your position a little bit, folks, okay? Keep moving yourself around. So again, we always just avoid that carpal tunnel. So be fairly methodical. Start off with that karate chop movement. Then you ideally don't forget something. So think about pronate, supinate, skin roll. Do a little bit of a fishtail waggle. Do some different movements with your hands. You're coming through multi-planes of movement. Get right up into your funny bone. See what that feels like to transition your weight left to right. You can almost do a little bit of a sort of a wiggly movement. But it's always interesting because you always forget something one side to the other. See what it feels like to cross fibre, in which case that's quite nice. You might just want to encourage that movement a little bit. So you're crossing. Hopefully as this becomes a little bit more relaxing, you may notice that your breath's becoming a little bit deeper or you're having a few involuntary sighs. And if you catch yourself drifting off somewhere completely different, that's absolutely fine. But then just notice when you're drifting and come back to what you're doing. Exploring your body map, finding out what the relief is like in different spots. Casting your eye, mind's eye over you're noticing what you're feeling. Okay. So get across that cuff and the wrist joint. Again, make a bit of a fist, so you're then doing a bit of a pin and stretch. So in fact, you're pinning and stretching. Pinning the cuff, pinning, stretch, pin, stretch, pin, stretch. Make a bit of a fist. Do some spiraling movements. See if you can, again, really strongly pronate, supinate through the whole. As you're using those balls, you're trying to get into that membrane between those lower arm bones. That's the interosseous membrane. So you're helping your arm move palm up, palm down. Now we haven't done upper arms, but just continue with this for a little while. And then let's begin to roll into the palms. So get into the base of that thumb joint. Try and get into the webbing of that first finger and thumb. You can get a little bit more pressure up if you want to, sort of interlace your fingers perhaps. Help expose some of that tissue by lifting your fingers up. You might want to interlace your fingers and pull that hand up a little bit. And then let's come into a little bit of finger extension. Try and get your whole of the palm down. Extend those fingers up. And then activate those fingers by trying to grab as long as you don't feel like you're going to strain into those finger tendons. Then come off, put your palm flat, feel the grip of the ball through the tote. Let's do a little bit of skin rolling. Notice how wrinkly your hands feel. Notice how much tissue you can transition as you twist. Twist down each finger. Come up in between the tendons on the back of the hand. Work your way down, like I said, each finger. Seeing if you can flatten out those finger joints, nice and soft into your brick. And then it feels delectable to actually come down the sides of your fingers, in between those spaces. A little bit of a V shape. Pull, make sure the tote is nice and tight, and slowly let's transition that skin on your palm. Skin roll. Shear. It's like a shearing movement. Twist down each knuckle. Notice where else you're holding tension. So if you feel that you're feeling really tense because you're really driving that movement from your shoulder, relax. Go down each knuckle, each finger joint. And then slowly let's have a little bit of a wiggle. A couple of other things that we're just going to do, which is quite nice. So first of all, just do a little bit of a check-in, okay? So just do that pronate, supinate with your arms and just see if that has gone any further. If it has, just let me know. Stick a thumb up if you feel that feels easier. Okay, it might feel a little bit easier for a few of you. Okay, so then let's place the balls into the elbow crease, come into a bit of a bicep curl. So this is what it looks like from the front, this is what it looks like from the side. And let's just do a little bit of a twisting movement. So you can have your palm open, you can make some fists, go one way. So you can pull that arm in, so you're really squishing into your bicep, the tendon attachments into here. Hold it in, squeeze it in. And then begin to just move your arm around. Do some funny squirly things with your fingers, squeeze it in. And then also you're beginning to get into these attachments here. So bend the elbow in. And if I just twist side to side, you can see where it's transitioning that tissue. But the balls happen to be there. So you're cross-fibering some of those insertions. Feels quite strange, but it's a bit weird, isn't it? But you can really feel that if you just let that arm lengthen there, how open your arms feel. Doesn't that feel nice and open now for most of us, like this sort of position? These are like hamstrings. Most of the time we're like this, aren't we? So to let them lengthen, let's do the other arm. Now there's one thing we didn't do on the other arm, is to fold the back of your arm in. Okay, so keep doing this. So just do what we've just done on this arm. And then if you want to in a minute, you can put the back of your arm in and then fold it backwards in and try it. That always feels a bit strange. Again, try and be nice and upright. Twist. Gather that tissue, squeeze it in. And if you squeeze and actually really make a knuckle and really try and give yourself a bicep curl, so you're pulling everything in, means that you're capturing more of this. You're really stimulating, twisting, wringing out. So squeeze it in, move your arm around. So it's not just you're holding it there, it's all sort of floppy and flaccid. So give it a little bit of pressure. Okay, let's try the back of the arm. So palm is flat towards the floor. On the back of the joint. Fold that arm in backwards. Then twist. Just do the other arm. So palm is flat. Pull the arm in. Pull it in, squeeze it in a little bit. Twist. Wave. Hello. And then just come off that. Let's have a little look again. So just let your shoulders drop, lengthen those arms, and then see what your palm down, palm up is like. And how this is going to transition again to us coming onto our hands and knees, to coming into 4-point kneeling. So come into a little bit of shoulder protraction, retraction. And then just have a little watch forward. We're going to come into opposite arm, opposite leg. But the option with this one, okay, is to draw that knee in, try and get the elbow in towards the knee, and then straighten up again. But you're not bowing up, okay? So you're trying to fire up, engage the glutes, engage your abdominals. So that's 1. That's 2. We're going to have a go at doing 10 on each side, okay? So really try and switch on your abdominals a little bit.